Welcome in. It is Big Ten Today. Great to have you with us on a Friday. Dave Revson, Andy Katz, our first Big Ten Today together of this calendar year. This is very exciting.
But to quote LD, Larry David, we're not going to say Happy New Year. It's way past.
Oh, no, way past.
Way past.
Yeah. Well, when did he see the young woman in the gym?
Yeah, you know, it's
how many
3 days
in?
Three
It was 3 days he decided? Okay.
Maybe a week, but not into February.
All right. Well, we've got other things to talk about, including a huge battle tonight in the state of Michigan. It is our big story. Two of the four teams tied atop the conference at 9-1, approaching the 200th meeting of these historic rivals, Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan's got more head-to-head wins all time. The Spartans hold the edge in Big Ten regular season tourney and then national titles as well. First of two meetings this season. The second one will be on the final day of the regular season. It is a rivalry that speaks for itself.
Here's Burnett. Burnett to Lindeborg. Whoa! Yapsel with a hammer.
And Jeremy Fears, the confidence is oozing out of him right now.
Yeah, he's rocking. Cadeau to Johnson. Wolverine avalanche.
Cohen Card. Skywalker. Oh my God.
Michigan versus Michigan State, a top 10 matchup Friday in East Lansing.
Game is on Fox tonight. Cannot wait for this one. They're 38-3 combined. I mean, they've had some huge meetings throughout the years, so I almost think it's kind of a fool's errand to say, "Oh, this is the biggest one," or something. But it's one of the bigger ones. I mean, we're talking about supremacy atop the Big Ten. You got four teams, all with one loss. These are two of them. What stands out to you as you assess this game?
Well, I was watching you earlier in the week, and you were setting up the week that this was going to be potentially a game-changing week in the Big Ten schedule. But they both had to get to this point, and they had legitimate scares.
Yes.
I mean, Michigan State probably should have lost to Rutgers. They pull that out on the road. And then Michigan, despite Nebraska being down two of their top three scorers, almost lose to the Huskers. I mean, they're down for 36 of the 40 minutes.
Yes.
So good thing that it's set up where we've got this game, both 9-1, joining Illinois and Nebraska. Turnovers, that's going to be a big key because both teams actually struggled with turnovers in their previous game. Michigan had 19, Michigan State 15. And it may sound simple, but whoever can basically hold on to this basketball may ultimately win, regardless of this game being in the Breslin Center.
I'm with you. I think that's a huge part of it. Elliot Cadeau, that's been an issue for him kind of throughout his career. Jeremy Fears obviously has gotten a lot of credit for his assist numbers. They've been great, but Michigan State has struggled with that. To me, I want to go back to what you were talking about a minute ago, which is that neither team played particularly well last time out. They're both fortunate to get wins, let's put it that way. I do wonder a little bit, particularly from Michigan, that it feels like they have come into a lot of games recently thinking, well, we'll turn it on when we need to. And they've been able to get away with that. You're not going to get away with that in the Breslin Center. And so I do wonder, particularly given how many players on Michigan's roster are new to this rivalry. I mean, you've got a few guys who know it. Namari Burnett's talked about, hey, this is the biggest rivalry that I've been a part of. Ronnie Gale was a part of it last year. But by and large, these guys are new to it. Whereas Michigan State, because of the way that Tom Izzo has run his program through the years, you have players who understand what this is all about. And I worry a little bit about Michigan not coming ready to play and getting themselves in a situation they can't get out of.
You make a great point. I mean, think about last year when, a little surprising because Dusty May went to Indiana, where, do you remember when Trey Holloman was very upset when Michigan came out and they were kissing the floor, and Dusty was kind of like, well, didn't know about the tradition, which kind of stirred this pot within this rivalry. Yeah, there's no question that when you get on Michigan State's campus, kind of like Michigan-Ohio State football, this game exists. Michigan men's basketball, I mean, I'm not there, I don't know, but I would be surprised if this is pointed out when you arrive, whether you come traditionally as a freshman or as a transfer. Whereas Michigan State, Tom Izzo will let you know this is a massive game whenever they play Michigan, whether it's 1, 2 times, 3 times, and they could meet 3 times or maybe 4. We'll see this season. So yeah, I agree with you that the rivalry game is a much bigger deal. It feels like in East Lansing and to Michigan State.
Okay, so as we break it down a little bit, I mean, one thing that's really amazing is we were talking about the 2 most efficient defenses in the country. Michigan State is 1, Michigan is 2. And again, you think about how many teams there are, right? There's 360 plus teams in college basketball. So these are 1 and 2. So then I think the question becomes kind of who's better equipped to deal with the other team's defense. Do you have a feel for that?
Well, I think it's going to be a massive challenge for Michigan State's front line. I mean, to this point, and part of the reason I wasn't alone in this chorus of wondering, how good Michigan State was going to be was, okay, could Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler, could they be, elite as a tandem in the post? And you're going against the trio of Yaxel Lindenborg, Adai Mara, and Merez Johnson. And I think you could make a case, they're not all going to be there, but all 3 have had all Big Ten seasons at different point. I mean, Merez Johnson has been absolutely phenomenal. Adai Mara has been a game changer. And obviously, Yaxel Lindenborg has been sort of a stat stuffer and very consistent. So how does Michigan State's, post deal with that trio?
Here you see the numbers for Yaxel Lindenborg in conference play. Remember, he had a little bit of a calf injury that he dealt with for a while, so maybe the numbers don't totally jump off the page. But I think to your point, he has really gotten better here in the last few games. I am blown away by the progress that Michigan State's front line has made. I mean, Jackson Kohler has become a legitimate pick-and-pop threat. He's really good inside. His footwork's always been fabulous, but the three-point shot that he's added this year, or the effectiveness of that three-point shot, how much better he's gotten. And then Carson Cooper. I mean, Carson Cooper's a great story, right? Really lightly recruited kid. When Michigan State took him, I think people raised some eyebrows. And he is an excellent defender, and he's a great lob threat. Like, he and Fears are just on the same page there. So, again, it speaks to how Tom Izzo likes to build his program, and I think part of why he has found the way that college basketball and college sports in general have become kind of transitory in nature a little bit, why it's challenging for him, because it runs contrary to what he likes to do, which is bring young players in his program and develop them and see them get better. This year is proof that you can do that, and last year is proof of it too, that you can do that, right? Izzo's model still works if you're Izzo.
No question, and I mean, I think it was fair to not anoint them to be repeat Big Ten champs when they lose Xavier Booker to UCLA, Trey Holloman to NC State, and they didn't replace them, at least you didn't think they did, with comparable talent. And yet, here they are, tied for first with 3 other teams, going into this game against Michigan, a team that is absolutely loaded, essentially has 9 starters. But, we go back to, and I think we all got romanced by, the 30, 40-point blowouts that Michigan was, was going through and just absolutely decimating the competition.
I still can't believe what they beat Gonzaga by.
Yeah.
Like look at how good Gonzaga is.
Right. But that was also, now it was their day 3. It was Gonzaga's day 3.
I understand.
But, now
that stretch was incredible.
Yes.
It was incredible.
But I think we also forgot, before that, they really should have lost to Wake Forest, which is not an NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And then on the road to TCU.
Right.
And they're a bubble team. So is it that Michigan? Is it the Michigan that just laid waste to everyone in that middle, from Players era on? Or now where almost lost to Penn State, lose at home to Wisconsin, flirt with Nebraska without 2 starters? Where's the real Michigan here? They're still elite. They can still win the title. They can still win this title in the Big Ten. But I think things have settled down just a little bit.
Well, this to me is kind of what I was getting back to earlier, which is, do you play hard? Do you come ready to play every game? Like, that is the thing that I worry about with them as we take a look at the standings. Again, the significance of this game, you see both at 9-1. Illinois and Nebraska play this weekend too, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But that to me is the huge question mark surrounding Michigan, and Michigan State is going to bring the physicality. Michigan is daunting physically, right? Kind of what you were talking about, that front line is just massive. It's an NBA-sized front line. Is it as physical as Michigan State is. You know Michigan State is going to be physical, and how does Michigan respond to that physicality, I think, is a huge question around tonight.
Well, and I think Adimar has done a better job with that. I mean, but he's not a physical player, but he's such an imposing player in the way he can alter shots, disrupt, and that's going to be trouble for Michigan State. But I think the atmosphere is going to be off the charts. This is actually the official, you're making the turn, your little golf term. You're making the turn on the second half of the Big Ten, because now we've had 10 games. This is the first game of the second half of the season, and it couldn't be a better one.
No, you really couldn't ask for a better game. I'm so excited about this one. And I think there's some pressure on Dusty May, too, for exactly the reasons that you were outlining. It felt like for whatever reason, whether I agree with you. I think he has to know how big this is, right? You know. But there was some downplaying of it last year. And one thing I loved about John Beilein's time at Michigan was he embraced it. He loved this rivalry. And so we really had kind of a golden age of it with Beilein and Izzo. These teams are equally as good now, but does Dusty May embrace it in the same way that Tom Izzo does? I think
he does. I think he's playing a little bit of games.
I would agree with you, but I think to kind of speak to it in that way here going forward, I think he will. But yeah, I mean, because you feel like both these teams are at their peak right now.
Yeah, and I will say this, not to show for us in the league, but it did really work out great this week that we had these two rivalries, Purdue, Indiana, Michigan State. No one knew Nebraska would be this good, but you had Michigan, Nebraska top 5, and then you got Illinois, Nebraska on the weekend. I mean, pretty great scheduling here this week.
Absolutely. No, I think one of the things that's really different about the Big Ten this year at the top, and we showed those 4 teams at 9-1, and then obviously you'd put Purdue in that conversation as well, is it felt like in past years there were 1 or 2 teams in recent years that we kind of hang our hat on that were clearly the top of the league. And again, as we talk about who can make the Final Four, who can break the national championship drought, it kind of hung on those limited number of teams. I mean, there are 5 teams this year, Andy, and so this speaks to how good the Big Ten is at the top. I think in recent years where the Big Ten has really shined is anybody could beat anybody on any given night, and we saw how close that race was last year. I mean, Nebraska ends up winning the crown. They didn't make the Big Ten tournament last year. So that spoke to the depth of the Big Ten. I'm honestly not sure it's as good at the bottom this year as it was a year ago, but the top is so much better.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike DeCourcy and I agree on this. I mean, the top 4 lines are going to be dominated by the Big Ten, by those 5. And if there's ever a year, the way it works out geographically, you've got a first and second round in St. Louis, you've got a regional in Chicago, and you got a Final Four in Indianapolis. I mean, it lays out for the Big Ten potentially to have a couple teams in the right spots in March and early April.
Yeah, and again, these are 2 of the teams. I mean, I would say there are 5 that if any of them were in the Final Four, you wouldn't bat an eye. Would you agree with that assessment?
I know I don't want to get ahead of my skis here, but I mean, last year the SEC had 2 in the Final Four. I won't be shocked if we do as well.
Yeah. So a really good year shaping up for the Big Ten. Cannot wait for this game tonight. Again, 8 Eastern time on Fox, Michigan and Michigan State. So much more to come on the show. We'll look back on last night in the Big Ten, wins for the Illini and the Wildcats. What to make of both of those. Plus, we'll take you through a busy night of women's hoops, including a much-needed W for the women of Troy. This is Big Ten Today.